Hello, Music Multiverse listeners, and welcome to Beyond Your Radio Album Review Saturdays. This is episode 25 of 2025. I'm your usual host, Mark Kulagowski, and I'm hearing things solo for the next 2 weeks. I know, you're missing your damn, but unless maybe I can trick some other panelist into this, I'm going to be doing this alone for the next 2 weeks, as I stated. So, what could I do to make up for that? I've decided that I'm going to crush it. I'm going to give you double the album reviews after the three that are here on the channel tonight. So, now, if you're new, what we do here is an extension of beyondyourradio.com. There are articles written there, and every week I write 3 album reviews. And these are the 3 for this week, but I go back in time. You can go back to check all the reviews way back. So this YouTube channel thing is a extension of that. And by you coming here, you get extra reviews. Normally 3 to 2, 3, something like that. But this time around, it's 6. So you got 9 total reviews here. So if you're ready to go, let's just make sure you're subscribed to the channel. No, I'll wait. That's better. All right. The album review 2025, episode 25, is an absolute snatch and grab. I tossed around about 15 albums that I've been digesting, intently getting into, kind of, I don't know, trying to feel out which of these might have a connection to an album of the year kind of feel. Although you're lucky, as with this video, I'm going to give you at least 6 of those that didn't make the cut but came close and might be right in your music loving wheelhouse. The first is an artist that I've followed since conception. This is an indie rock, not probably known in most parts of the world except north of me, but an artist that has had some very exceptional and compelling lyrics and styles, usually against a more sparse or acoustic-minded delivery and or production. This time, it's just not the same. And this is one of those to really, really pay attention to because it's that good. Next, we go to a headlong, nightmarish, beautifully put together perspective from a monarchs of a swelling, generous Swedish progressive metal morphing machine. And then we wash it all down with some intense sludge riff, doomy fuzz from the cool desert darkness where the only thing sacred is holding the familiar genre line, but delivering it with an intensity and bang-on consistency that is summoning to all those that hit the blues this hard. So, shall we? Let's start off today with Dan Mangan, Natural Light. This is the 8th or 9th studio album from this Canadian. He could easily fit into Unknown Sundays. But when an album of this nature and creativity comes this majestically to us, made an incredible songwriting style and instrumental connectivity, it is worth bringing Natural Light to as many of the masses as will see this, or, see it eventually. This is Dan Mangan of Smithers, British Columbia. And if you are a lover of meaningful, tempered indie blend of adult contemporary, gorgeous, detailed musicianship, flow, and production, then this is your album of the year at the halfway point. It's unquestionable. I have been following Dan's albums from the beginning, and while I have always found them extremely good, inventive folk with sparseness, there has always had that something that kept me from exalting any particular record. Now, I don't know, they're always solid, but just didn't have that punch, or I don't know, deliverance in a different tonality or whatever you want to say. The songwriting was always lyrically above the board. But that's a Canadian thing, I think. It's like if you're going to be a singer songwriter there, they're going to give you only airtime if you're really, really good. I mean, that's my Canadian myth, but music business, radio, anyways. It's probably like a Royal Music Mountie police secrecy that only a few know. It's the musical accompaniment and meshing here, the choices on Natural Light, that is the slam dunk to the incredible indie folk rock record that this is. Don't get me wrong, the lyrical reach and topical discussion here, he yields it like a wispy fragrance over the album in all shapes and sizes of delivery, is definitely that of a masterclass.
Underwater, never burn. No one is surprised, but everybody's shocked with diminishing return.
But how does one do this in the gentle realms between melody, between mood and tempo, and even the flow within the span of 45 minutes? Well, yes, it's obvious that melody chose him. Melody being one of the songs on the record.
When you think you got some skin in the game, just when you think the tides are turning your way, just when you think you got a bird in hand, it's a shakedown, broken to a shell of a man. So why melody choose me? Oh, why melody choose me?
Do you hear it when you hear it? There's so much going on here, so I'll break it down for you. The clever assumption here is that this is just full of lovely melody. And it just came to him. All actuality, he was locked out in a cabin in the middle of nowhere with some friends, and that's where this album was conceived in 13 tracks. But like that beautiful clarinet and saxophone accompaniment that's in this, there's a swirling, wonderful thing going on around him in this place where they recorded. But let's not forget that melody might actually be a human being. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's that damn good on this album. And this is a great example of how there's so much more for you to explore. In the 13 tracks, he's found a superior angle on for each. There's nothing that isn't brilliant, including the densely sparse My Dreams Keep Getting Weirder that has all kinds of interesting accompaniment, and which I'll let you hear for your own, on your own first, not kind of showing you anything or showing you, putting it any music on this. He truly understands the connectivity of music to an audience. I believe he knows it has to feel something as much to you and I as it does to him. That soul of each track is amazingly accomplished, just like that of his Side Door co-created product that he did during COVID that allowed musicians to connect from their homes to the audiences trapped in theirs. I actually took part in these several times during the COVID era. If there's any track for you singlists out there, and I genuinely advise you strongly against this approach to listening to music, it's like reading the Cliff Notes instead of reading the book, or watching the extended marketing previews for movies and then not watching the movie in the engaging entirety. You say you saw it, but you really didn't. You missed out on so much more that was inside. There are those dumb marketing people that put the whole movie in the preview, but not too often are the great movies done that way. Don't miss out on the flow and being pulled in by the overall scope and design of this project, especially when it comes from such a hard, beautifully soulful place as this. The song Cut the Brakes is the genuine article of one of the best written, multiply meaning laden songs of this era. putting all into a wonderfully easily accessible metaphoric place for anyone living in these times. This is something Dan Mangan is modestly brilliant at, and it is my hope that it takes you back to the albums prior and the songwriting density that is worthy of so many lovely ears that have missed out on this lyrically, softly spoken master. He is. This is stripped down, again, masterclass, introspective, that's got the Dylan meets Radiohead like design and conflicts that are what make this Natural Light album one to listen to before you let 2025 go by. Or if you're a procrastinator, before you die, please sound the alarm. We have a recording in 2025 that is generational here. Of that, I am fully and completely certain of. Catatonia, nightmares as an extension of the waking state. All right, so we've got a title here that gives you that Dream Theater kind of feel. Although the album cover, not so much. The Swedish progressive rock and metal morphing band here has once again found an elevated point of existential grooved, like a sinister grooved delivery to awaken the progressive metal merchant of today. They take off immediately with nightmares as extensions of the waking state by delivering a moody and groovy perfect circle kind of thing intro that splits quickly into a heavy progressive Porcupine Tree meets Airbag. The balance in all of it transcends through the album as an entity kind of packed with incredible crescendos. It just doesn't. It has them all. It's got dark bridges and merging of riffs and progressive delays that create the very audio nightmare that will have the genre listeners caught between intent and drool. And that's a wonderful place to be. There definitely is a control to this, but while the Warden suggests it might be of rigid, intense nature and structure,
Tired eye, the future has passed. And I am the warden. I am the citadel.
it feels more like a freedom to roam the entire prison of the genre and escape at your own clever will. Like the aforementioned A Perfect Circle and Porcupine Tree and Airbag, okay, you can assume there's a technical connection and execution here. It's elevated by every inch of how each instrument contributes and is produced on every track. The songs are epic, while some are not as long as they feel. The beginning, middles, and ends are not as self-evident and particularly spaced the same, like The Liquid Eye, which is showing us the reach kind of and the symphonic edge that they tried to come to, like that Dream Theater kind of thing. But we can have a vocal delivery that's soft and kind of emotional, like that of the Devlins, the Ireland band, alt soft rock in contrast that's there. We can have doom bass and pushing drum work, but we can also have it with satanic harmonies, chants, and cult-like stuff, not holding with progressive keyboard manifestations or 80s pop keys. This all showcasing Catatonia's remarkable talents for the bleak space, the odd melodic signature, which is an incredible addictive feature of this band. Instruments, harmonies, both, depending on their whim, doesn't matter, and the timing to create albums in this space at a great time and great pace so as to serve the listener. Groundbreaking isn't what this is. Although I see many people always harking or hoping for it when it comes to this band. I believe after all this time and the creature and catastrophic formula the band has crafted, that this is honest. It's technically absorbing and always interesting enough to be totally engaging. So why do you think you have to throw something in there that you're not comfortable with, or that's trying to push a button or to push a genre or to push it to the edge, unless it makes sense? I think what happens truly in these albums is there's so much going on that you don't even realize that it's sort of obtuse from the prior record, or maybe out of character for the band, because you've heard so much of the underlying depth of it comes from the actual band and their prior recordings. You can feel everything here. Each instrument and the rise and the lulls as the flow dramatically and soundly comes through nightmares as extension of the waking state. It is a creature comfort that kind of mirrors, but more believably darker than that of Dream Theater, as well as all kinds of progressive pieces of bands like Pineapple Thief, Airbag, as I stated before, even Riverside. I guess I hearken that to the melody and the lyric to that particular band. The title holds very steady, as does the cover imagery, to make this an extremely cohesive production that's going to need promotion and people to help this album rise above the continual wave of music that swims elegantly in this kind of water. Here's an album cover. Goya. In the dawn of November. I'm not going to remind Blues Funeral Records that it isn't November. You know, it's summertime. Just like I wouldn't even think of telling Rob Zombie that it ain't Halloween, dude. Probably get flamethrowered if I called him dude. So let's hearken to the awesome gut-shifting desert dark night doom presented by the incredibly tenactic bass and drum and riff that Goya sludges unapologetically through toward like a railroad going and being built right through a golf resort or an oasis without any peripheral care. Just plow through. We're putting the railroad in. Tough shit for you. And that is In the Dawn of November. That bleak, descriptive, and powerful executed stoner doom rock. Yeah, it's there. With an attitude on deck that perfectly fits the heavy, murder-soaked funeral blues being brought to the Sabbath of 2025 with blistering effect and affect. Anxiety-ridden, are you? Easily subjected to the pains of life and really sick of it all? Well, shuffle off this mortal coil and get the Cemetery Blues. That's what he said. Feel the connection? Feel the conviction? If you don't, it's quite possible that you won't be able to understand the position and riff-tastic fuzz and doom-driven healing nature this has. That's okay. You go to your Taylor Swift party down the street. Or maybe across that from that house is Sarah McLachlan's house where you can wallow in your mire. And Goya will find you and sacrifice your drama in front of the absorbing, hypnotized, bonged out, acid-influenced flock of stoners with red in their eyes and psychedelic psychosis tapping them on the imaginary shoulder. I think you might want to stick with us. Not that there's anything wrong with Taylor Swift or Sarah McLachlan. That's just a different headspace for a different time. This crew could run with Rob Zombie. In fact, they might be the motorcycles that are waiting outside with their motorcycles to take them to a punishing bonfire for the masses. Yeah, I did that once. Fire everywhere, and as far as the eye could see. There's fuzz, there's sonics, distortion, and good, clean, sunken ship blues turbulence that leaks right into the vocalist. That's fantastically done. The thrashing and trashing and struggling of control for your very soul is inevitable when you reach the end of In the Dawn of November. Just offer it up. There's probably not a better bass-driven drop D way to go than Into the Bleak. I'm fucking sick of you. Sick of your shit. Yeah, well, wait. Am I? I'm actually eating all this up like the devil's buffet of life-ending diabolical proportions. It's the perfect smorgasbord of marching, doomy metal angst. Oh, I hear the dinner bell. Maybe it's for whom the bell tolls, and I want to be dead, but are you coming? Yeah, I didn't think you would. You probably wouldn't even survive the salty succulence anyway. You need to learn to hang with Sleep, Acid King, and the literal Church of Misery, which is a fine place to pray for absolute vodka, by the way. This is a deliverance that requires a platter, not a weak-ass paper plate, a thick stomach lining, and a used devil-proof base vest you can only get at the Monster Magnet in Chains gift shop at the fiery depths of Blues Funeral Records. Oh, good. I still have that gift card from All Souls Day. Okay, away we go, right? I promised you more, double. Well, here we go. 6 extra reviews. Roll up the sleeves. Let's get this done. All right, let's start off with this one. I usually don't show pieces, right? Moon Letters. This Dark Earth. Ho, yeah. Let's kick it off with progressive old school. That's right. Give you a few tracks and a couple of, one of them has 3 parts to it. Yeah, that's prog. That's the old prog. This is your truest of form, making for the Yes and King Crimson manifestos you like. And it's tremendously good. But it is definitely held to the confines of the earlier creativities of the genre. So if you're looking for it to branch out, it stays in that wheelhouse that I just talked about. Even the vocalist kind of holds in that. It's elongated, parted songs that work and fuse together to make the album truly progressive. And then there's homage to driven past the virtuosity of such keyboards, guitarists, and again, even the vocalist, who he can truly bring it. He's got that, Michael True, I think is his name, kind of has that Styx, Gowan kind of appeal. Flute, mellotron, there's everything here. This Dark Earth, while the title suggests a bit more in the harsh area, it's truly a brilliant progressively driven record that pushes you from Yes to Floyd, back to King Crimson, and into maybe a little bit of Haken meets Steely Dan even. So a lot of great places. It's a cool surprise from this year in the progressive rock form. And I want to say this is their own record label. So speaking of your own record label and the beast that you are, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. You can't have an album review in a year and not talk about 1, 2, or 3 of their own records. Yes, they seem to produce them like, I don't know, just with ease. So here is Phantom Island. I would not be the best to be able to determine exactly if this is a return to the early structure of the band and how they played. I believe this is a jamming record. Okay, this harkens to the concepts and ideas of the Grateful Dead. But I can certainly tell you that it is an incarnation of the musical choices over the past decade. Is that it's the closest to the area of that jam that started their audio careers. While I'm not overly excited by the lyrical placement in this one, it doesn't grip me. The band continues to exude tight aspects of sound, connectedness, clever like pouncing and meshing of instruments, which is great, as they do on the song Space Sick.
Think they could have worked out the drugs up here, 'cause it's like that, but floating in space. Earthrise doesn't hit quite the same when you're in spun merry-go-round all day. Gotta miss that grounding feeling, grass on their toes, gravity healing. Anyway, enough about me. How did the little one sleep?
At the expense of that familiar flick your Bic formula with the trippy floater match, which should easily please everybody that is mesmerized and psychedelically enhanced to listening to such an experience of this expansive catalog. And you can get lost in this. There's no question. And I think that's usually the intention of a King Gizzard Lizard Wizard album. Next up, Beatty Wolf and Brian Eno, Luminal or Lateral. Which came first here? Which should come first? This is kind of that concept of chicken and egg that only those people are going to know about, the two that were in the room. Or maybe if you read an article, you'd understand which one came first. I did not. I had no reason to. Any type of Brian Eno record usually doesn't hit me that well. There are a couple that do, not many. But this having two albums, one and both with a female, right? So here's Beatty Wolf. She is an interesting vocal ambience that truly exalts Brian Eno's ambient temperature here.
Milky sleep tastes so sweet. Heavy earth tangled there.
I think there's a lot more going on, and I think it's really, really good. And that is Luminal. However, that vocal piece, that instrument, and she's a multi-instrumentalist herself, adds to the treasures of the atmospheric ear of that record. But it's Lateral that suffers the usual never-ending subtleties that just pick you to death by Eno. He does every song is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, it's not even, and they change subtly. And I can understand where you're thinking that maybe that was the music that started the beginning of it all to be in Luminal. But my position here is that Beatty Wolf is seemingly less present in the musicianship here. Not that I was expecting vocals, but I do get how the subtle ambient in this should have made that connection to the other record. I don't think it does. I think it just falls short. And it's not as interesting in your earbuds as it should be when it comes to those type of records. Ambient records should shine in this thing here. I mean, it should have depth. And I had that depth in Luminal, but in Lateral, I was searching for it for 2 listens, and it didn't find it. Tracy Bonham. Anybody remember Tracy Bonham? Of course I do. Sky Too Wide is the new record. This was a fresh out-of-the-box female alt-rocker back in the early 90s. Violinist, pressure cooker type of thing. First 3 albums just went somewhere else. Somewhere else that didn't exactly fit the vocal stress afterwards. So first 3 records, I'm good. But as it started to move forward, no. Including a children's audio CD posing as a studio album. Don't do that, people. Don't. I understand you love your kids. You want to make that kind of a record. Now, back in the day that this came out, I didn't exactly have this musical scope to do this. I had to buy it and eat it. You know, you couldn't hear it ahead of time. Thank God you can now, but just don't do these kind of things. Leave them as an aside. Put them on your website. Don't leak it to the masses. Put it in the context it needs to be. All right, enough of that because we're talking about Sky Too Wide. However, here we have Tracy modulating back and forth between new and reimagining a few of those tracks from those first 3 albums. Okay? Those are the parts that literally go wrong here. The new stuff, I like. They're not tuned right or important at all. But I'm encouraged by the songs that were new, especially Don't Dick Around with My Heart.
Around with my heart, I never knew that you were capable of tearing it all apart. Darling, would you? Darling, could you?
Is that artful playmanship that fits well with her piano playing, which is just part of her musical instrumentalization. She's violin, guitar. I think she plays drums, which all seems to flow from a prospect of like musical in this realm. I think she likes the idea of orchestra, like a Mazzy Star version of that. Where Hope Sandoval would be in a more grungy sonic lo-fi world. Tracy is putting it at that orchestra level. It's kind of has a little bit of fanciness to it. What I'm hoping for is that this part gives you to go back if you do not know Tracy Bonham. She could have been an Unknown Sunday technically, because there is some meat on those bones, except for that Navy Bean song, which unfortunately was remade on this record. Mooch. The new album, Kin. Well, in actuality, I don't even know if they have an album prior to that. I didn't really know them at this point, but they were on the list. Why? Yellowknife Canada. If that doesn't scream band name, I don't know what does. Yellowknife. It's Montreal. Anyway, this is Canada yielding yet another psych stoner band that utilizes an eerie grunge vocal connection instead of blues vocaling. It's kind of putting us in the wheelhouse of Black Throne Productions that has brought us incredible stuff like Sons of Ericus and, hey, Volume 2, please. Ox, and one of my favorites from last year, Occult Witches, which I didn't think was a really good band name, but I'm liking it. Mooch used the heavy rock and grunge. They have a specialist when they want that goes knocking on the doors. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't believe me, right? It will leave your ear bewildered, fuzzed, and riffed, just like you like your eggs. And I don't know how you like your eggs, but just imagine them perfect every time, all right? Because that's what they're going to be. Trust me. This band, perfect every time.
Fell inside an everlasting thought, unknown how long it could be. Planetary revolution starts, motion granted to be free. The hammer crumbles and the scales fall, golden bird falls from the tree. Back from death is when the living starts. Sun rises so we can see.
This is not an easy feat to pull off that they're trying here. I'm not saying they're doing it all the time. There's that Dorsian thing, but there's a couple pieces in there that are really, really, really well done. And I believe Kin by Mooch is a great mesh of triangulated heavy stoner rock. You got like a grunge psych and a thrust of that Lizard King poetry deliverance for added effect. Finally, in this melee of reviews, Black Moth Super Rainbow. At first, I thought I was going to be bludgeoned to death by sugary lo-fi voice box, vocal box. Well, I kind of was. I'm going to lie to you. I was. It's the accompaniment, the production. I did find shreds of interesting electronic comparisons and interesting spins from time to time, but hard to get past that vocal modulation because it's consistent. It's constant, and it's not as Boards of Canada and Flying Lotus or even the Flaming Lips, which I tried to get because I kind of figured, well, this is kind of that Yoshimi battle of the pink robots, and no, it's just not. It's not for me. It's drenching synth and vocal intercourse that's going on in a distracting augmentation and ruining the function and flow of a style of record this is supposed to be. It's causing me to I tapped out. I wasn't able to concentrate on any one thing. It's hard to compartmentalize this much that's going on, and everything is recorded at the same level. There's nothing below or high. There's no depth to the recording. It's all on one. If it is, it's subtle, and it's not subtle enough. It needs to be more. Something needs to be in the background. Something needs to be in the foreground. Something needs to be in the side ground. But it's too much in the mix, in the high end of the mix. So not that thing for me. So Black Moth Super Rainbow's latest, while it's a reach for me, maybe for you in the lo-fi electronica, you'll find your way. So what did you think of all these albums? Are you going to go to all of them? Hey, that's up to you. Let us know in the comments. Like what you like, leave what you don't. Subscribe to the channel, please. It's a way for us to get more reach, more realm. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. Articles, videos, that podcast. Somehow I'm going to get to that. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Unknown Sundays coming up around the bend. Tomorrow, I will surprise you there. Thanks for watching, and happy listening.